What is up, everybody? Coop here, and today we're going to be looking at how to make Jaina Proudmoore in Divinity Original Sin 2. So, I thought about this concept for a while. I was like, okay, I want to make some iconic characters and kind of iconic spells and kind of do a sort of class fantasy of how I would build a Jaina Proudmoore character. So, Jaina Proudmoore is a very famous mage from the popular game World of Warcraft, and she's actually getting a lot of headway with the new expansion that's coming out. And I have a love for that game, but I also have a love for Divinity Original Sin 2, so I figured, how can I make a character kind of go along with that? So when I was first thinking about this, I thought of first, what were the class fantasies of her? Well, obviously she's a human, no doubt about that. She has that white hair that's now iconic from sort of the Tides of War fantasy book. And on top of it, she has like a lot of ice spells, a lot of different sort of mage abilities. She has a little bit of fire. She uses fire as kind of like the secondary thing, but her main thing is hydro. So I thought about that when I first jumped in. I was like, okay, so the first things we're going to be doing are hydro. So when I did that, I put hydro and pyro as sort of the main things out there. Now I gave her lore master just because they kind of fit with this stuff, but she did have persuasion back in the day. However, she's not as much of a persuasion person anymore, as you guys would know if you play. But yeah, I figured that was kind of like the good way to do it. I chose Hailstrike because that just makes sense. I chose Rain because it's a water-based ability that can get rid of a lot of the different fire stuff and things out there. And then I chose Searing Daggers as just another alternative way of doing sort of damage because she does have firebolts and things as well. So when I was going through this, I was trying to think of what talents we could do, and I think Far Out Man just literally fits the mage so well. Now later on we can pick up Savage Sortilege and build up some crit along the way. There's a variety of different ways we could do it, but that was sort of the main things I did there. Now if I were to do stats, I would not actually put any points in the Constitution, maybe just put them all into that, or maybe a little bit into Wits, or not Wits, but Memory, just to give us a few more spell slots as well. So, and then obviously we gotta have the name Jaina Proudmoore. Actually, I think I even spelled it wrong. Oh my gosh. So, there we go, we have that, and now we'll jump into what we do after Act 1. Alright, after going through Fort Joy, basically I have kind of my spells lined up in a way to where you can kind of see them gradually kind of going up. So the first one that you have here is you have your Hailstrike, your Rain, and your Searing Daggers. That's kind of what you start off with. Now, as time goes on, you're going to want to pick up Fireball, Supernova, Global Cooling, and Ice Fan. So I felt like these spells really go well kind of with her kit. She's not much of a fire wizard, but I wanted to make sure to where she has a little bit of fire spells in her arsenal, especially when going forward. Fireball is one of her iconic moves. Supernova is kind of like, I would say, like her kind of exploding things that she does. Global Cooling is obviously a very clear one that she does with Frost Nova all the time, and then Ice Fan is just another way of doing good old Hailstrike. Now later down the line, you're going to want to get Deep Freeze, Icebreaker, and Arcane Stitch, just because they are really good abilities that you can get later on. So let's actually dive in and talk about each of these spells and what they exactly do for you. Fireball is basically just a fireball attack. You throw it at the opponent, and you deal damage based off of your intelligence and your pyrokinetic level. So, very good spell in general. Next is Supernova, which just creates a bunch of fire surfaces around you and basically just does a crap ton of damage. Same as before, skills with intelligence and your pyro level. Global Cooling. Now this one's a really cool one. It sets chill on enemies around you. It's pretty much the exact opposite of Supernova and freezes all surfaces around you. So if there's water and stuff around you, you pop that bad boy around. You can do like Rain and then pop that, and then all the surfaces around you are ice, and then as people walk up to hit you, they slip and they fall. It's very nice and a very good ability overall to really give you that diversity of a kit that you need. And it gives you a combo that you can do to sort of get you out of the way of those melee situations. Next is Ice Fan. Basically, it's another just ice throwing ability that you can toss on things and give them the chilled sort of status effect, which can also give them eventually a freezing status effect. Now, these are the three that are kind of your main, like, big mamma jammas. You have Icebreaker, which sets off a chain reaction of ice, which explodes into water puddles, dealing water damage and setting the chilled. So as you can see here, you're really trying to do this whole freezing thing to really freeze them up. If by chance they're somehow immune to water, you have your fire spells to make it to where you're not completely useless, and you can actually make it to where it's like 3 turns, 4 turns, and 6 turns. So you can kind of do like this nice little rotation and kind of go through the mix of, you know, what sort of magic are you going to be using in certain encounters. And then of course you have your Encourage and Dome Protection, which just kind of go along with the character as well. Now if we were to actually test this against something, let's go see what we can do with it. Alright, so let's actually test this bad boy out. Well, with having the Farman perk, it's really nice because you can actually just come up here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it to where it's very easy for me to get my sort of stats effects and things. So we're going to do the good old rain ability here. Then after that, we're going to do a good old little thing here. Dropping these nice little abilities here. And now we've already frozen our target. So as you can see here, the rain effect gave him the wet effect, which allowed me to do my good old freezing abilities here. Now what's really nice is we can do Ice Fan, so we can do that, and then target this guy again. Causing us once again to freeze all of our targets, making this very easy for all of us. Now I'm just going to do a good old global cooling, causing a lot of damage and a nice ice surface around me. So this will help me a lot with going forward. Now we're going to do the good old Icebreaker, causing a crap ton of damage, and as you can see here, they're already almost dead, and we've just started. And then we're going to do Encourage to increase our stats. So as you can see here, they're all frozen, they all have to take a turn to get out of it. So at this point, yes, we are pretty much out of all of our freezing spells, and that's kind of scary for us. Now, in the future, we do have Deep Freeze, so if we were to somehow get them to roughly about 10% life and they were frozen, we could instantly kill them, otherwise they would take a crap ton of damage regardless. Also, we have a way of giving us fully back our magical armor or one of your friends and removing them from being stunned, frozen, petrified, plagues, suffocating, all the very mean and terrifying sort of spell effects that you can get in the game. So now we're at pretty low health, and we want to do a little bit more damage, so I'm just going to go drop a fireball there. So we got a good old amount there, and he has burning effect on him, so that makes it very good for us. This would hit him, but let's focus on trying to kill some of these guys out here. And I want to give them the burning effect, because with having the burning effect, as the time they get up to me, it will pretty much hurt them a lot. We'll hit this guy here. Boom, he's stunned from my good old arrow thing because he has the wet effect. She's going to come up here for a blitz attack. As you can see here, destroys my armor completely. But I just do supernova, and bada bing, bada boom, she's dead. Next, I can do a good old hail strike again, so I could freeze him. Boom, and down he goes. And once again, as you guys can see, that is pretty much how powerful the build is. There's not really many spells that you really need to pick up later on. This toolkit kind of goes throughout the entire game. Now, if in the event that we do find ourselves fighting some more targets here, so let me just do this real quick. So we'll do a rain again. And we'll do a good old hail strike here. Well, we froze her, and the other one's got a lot of extra health, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to figure out a way to destroy that magical armor there. So we could do, let's see, 3 of these would, it wouldn't quite destroy her armor. Alright, and if you throw a fireball. So we removed her frozen ability, so that's very important to keep in mind there. And let's say, for example, that I decide to freeze her again. Alright, so we froze her again, and then sets chill around the enemies around you and freezes all surfaces around you as well. So we'll do that real quick. So once again, if any of these characters are melee, they would be able to slip up and fall, so really saving us and all of our issues. Alright, so we got this. She's not at 10% life yet. I really want to show you this awesome ability. Oh, I guess she died anyway, regardless. That's funny. And we can do a good old cone ability if we really want to. Yeah, we'll do that. See if we can't freeze her again, and give ourselves another boost. Like as you guys can see here, it's really cheeky and really annoying to deal with. And we can do a good old ability here to deal some more damage to her, and we'll end our turn. We'll keep that extra thing there. Global warming. Once again, almost freezing her again, and we can do this good old ability here. And if I really wanted to kill her, I could just kill her now with our good old ability here. Bam! So there you guys have it. That's pretty much the build. It's a really powerful one in general, just because you have a variety of different things. The fire does sometimes get in the way, but I did it as a way of also having where you're not just completely hydro, because that can get really bad really quick, especially if you're dealing with a lot of electricity and things like that. It can get really messy really quick, so it makes it to where you're not completely useless. If you guys actually need my sort of stats here, which I'll just close that out. Basically, I went with pretty much heavy into hydro and a little bit into pyro. Basically, my main priority is hydro, and then what I chose for talents-wise was savage sortilege and far out man. I chose lone wolf just because I wanted to show the sort of the sheer power of this build, but in reality, I would try to eventually choose like the Ice King or living armor. Living armor is a really good one because you do have healing spells, but I really wanted to stick with the class fantasy of being Jaina Proudmoore. So, anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and to follow me on all the social media. All that stuff is in the links down in below in the description. Do try to subscribe. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. We might be by the time I post this video. I'm not sure, but we're so close. Like, it's not even... It's like any day now, or any hour now, to be honest. But anyways, I want to thank all the guys that have been watching my Divinity Original Sin videos. Just know that they're going to keep on coming, and eventually there's bound to be a Divinity Original Sin like 3, so I know there's going to be. It's just too good of a moneymaker, and it's too good of a game with so much lore and sort of things out there. So keep in mind, just keep on the lookout for that, because I am doing a lot of different sort of mod builds and sort of character concepts and the builds in general to show you guys some of the coolest things that you can build in this game. Also, I do a variety of other quest content that you guys can check out if you guys are struggling with some of the more eventful things in the game as well. Anyways, thank you guys for coming, and I will see you guys next time.